and welcome back to another edition of Corey's in the Kitchen. Special week for you this week. We're going to try our hand at spinach pies, known in Arabic as fatayr. So, if you'd like to also say that with me, you can go ahead and practice now. Fatayr. Good job! Alright, so what do we need for a fatayr? Well, like I said, it's spinach pies, so we need spinach. I find that the best one to use is frozen chopped spinach, about a pound of it. You want to go ahead and thaw it and then drain it. I have that over here already, ready to cook. It's been draining. I just have to use a colander. It's kind of an easy way to drain it. We also need an onion. It is optional. If you don't want to have onions in it, you don't have to. I think it tastes a little bit better with the onion. We're going to need the juice and pulp of 2 lemons. So we have them right here. Salt and pepper to taste. We're also going to need olive oil and a little bit of vegetable oil. This little bottle here is was kind of hard for me to find. I ended up having to order it online. It's pomegranate molasses. It gives it a unique flavor. Again, if you would like to make your own pomegranate molasses, you can get pomegranate juice and brown sugar and reduce it and mix it. I just can't seem to get it right, so a lot more convenient, a lot better to go ahead and buy it. We're also going to need dough. Now, if you want to go ahead and make your own dough from scratch and turn it into balls and flatten it out and use it for the pies, by all means, go right ahead. I decided to buy frozen dough balls. I've already let them sit and rise, so they're ready for us to start cooking with. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this. Come join us, come in a little bit closer, and we'll get started. Alright everyone, so what I went ahead and did is I chopped up the onion, and we needed a cup. So we have about a cup of onion over here. We're going to go ahead and brown the onion in some olive oil a little bit first, and then we're going to add the spinach to it and get it heated all the way through. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of this olive oil on here. Let it heat up. And we'll add the onion to it to start browning. These spinach pies was the only way that my mother could get me to eat spinach when I was a kid. I absolutely despised spinach unless they were made into these pies, and for some reason that made them a little bit better. At least I thought it made them a little bit better. Alright, so we're going to just go ahead and stir these in until they get browned. Alright, so now that our onions have browned, we're going to go ahead and add our spinach, which has already been thawed, drained, and we squeezed out any excess water that might have been in there. So we're just going to go ahead and just add this to it. And we're going to keep it on here till it heats all the way through. And that's about a pound of chopped spinach. Alright, so we're just about done. We're just heating this to where the spinach is all the way heated through. Once we're done here, I'm going to remove it from the heat and just set it aside and let it cool down. While it's cooling, I'll go ahead and squeeze the lemons, get all that wonderful lemon juice and pulp. And then hopefully by the time I'm done with that, this will be cool enough to touch. But then again, I'm going to probably use my hands to put it inside the dough. So I don't want to get burnt exactly. Not saying that never happens, but if I can help it, I'd rather not. So I will remove this from the heat momentarily and then squeeze the lemons, and then I'll join back with you guys once I'm ready to add everything together. Alright, so our spinach has been cooling for a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and add the other ingredients to it. I went ahead and killed 2 lemons and juiced them. And here's the juice and the pulp from those 2 lemons. I'm going to go ahead and add it on here. Fantastic. I'm also going to take a pinch of salt. Maybe another half a pinch. And then the same with the pepper. I'm going to do a tablespoon of pomegranate molasses. Just going to drizzle that on there. And I also need a tablespoon of olive oil, which I left over by the stove. One moment, sorry. That's better. So I'm going to go ahead, grab that. Tablespoon of the olive oil added. There. And now that that's all added together, we're going to mix it in. I found that the best way to mix it is by hand and make sure that the flavor is everywhere it needs to be. So I want to grab me a glove and go ahead and mix this all up together. So we'll let the spinach absorb all those juices, all that lemony and pomegranate-y goodness. And then we're going to get our dough balls that have been rising for a while. Over here we're going to get them flattened out and start to fill them up. Alright, so what I'm doing now, I went ahead and got the dough balls that were rising, and I'm going to flatten them out and make them into little rounds. Once I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of spinach inside, and then I'm going to pinch the ends into the middle to make a triangle shape, and I'll show you that here in a minute.
And you have them coated in flour.
And of course I've coated in flour so they don't get stuck to my rolling pin. You don't want to use too much flour or else the dough won't stick to itself when you're trying to put it together. Now, very importantly, you don't want to have any oil on your hands when you're trying to get the dough to stick together, or else it's just not going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of spinach mixture that we did, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of each one of these dough balls. But we don't want to get all the way to the end because we do have to close it. And it's a lot easier to use your gloves for this process. That way your hand stays dry when you're trying to close them up. So, we're going to make a triangle that looks like this one by bringing one end up and then a second end up, meeting in the middle. Go ahead and close that up, pinch it all together, and then you'll have the third edge, join them in the middle as well, and then you will close that too. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this for this one here. Once again, you take 2 edges to the middle, and then you pinch the dough close together, and then you bring the third edge to meet them, making this triangle shape. And again, if your hand has any type of oil on it, it's just not going to stay. Here we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue this with as many dough balls as we have, or until the spinach mixture runs out. Okay, now that I've thoroughly made a mess out of everything and got all of them inside the dough and closed up, I went ahead and I'm preheating the oven to 400 degrees. I'm going to take a little bit of vegetable oil and I'm just going to coat the bottom of the pan that I'm going to put them in. So, you want enough in there to be able to basically just, again, coat the bottom of it. Once you have the bottom of this coated, you can transfer the fauteuil and put them on here. You then want to stick them in the oven, probably on the middle rack, for about 20 minutes. Now about 15 minutes or so into it, you want to check them and see what the top looks like. If the top is not starting to golden, then you want to go ahead and move it to the top rack. Or if you have a broiler, this will be a great opportunity to be able to use it. And we're going to make sure it has a nice light golden brown on the top. So it looks like I need a little bit more of this just to finish coating the pan here. So I'll go ahead and start setting these in here. And then once the oven is finished preheating, we'll go ahead and transfer them into the oven. Okay, so now that our oven is preheated, I'm going to go ahead and put these in. I'm going to start off in the middle rack, and then I'm going to come back to it in a little bit, check on them, and see if they need to be moved up to the top rack. Here goes nothing. Okay, so I checked on these, and it looks like they're getting done fairly quickly, a little bit quicker than I thought. It's only been about 10 minutes, but they're starting to get done on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and move them up a little bit to get us a little bit nicer coloring on the top. But it looks like they're just about done. We'll go ahead and put these in here. And again, if you have a broiler, this would be a good time to use it. We'll let that be in there for a little bit, checking on it periodically, and see what we have in store. Okay, so that went a lot quicker than I had originally anticipated. Total cooking time turned out to be about 16 minutes. Your time may vary depending on the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out and see what they look like. Looks a little bit like this. Yummy. The bottom of them should be nice and golden as well. So I want to take these out, let them cool. And then I'm going to transfer them to a serving platter where other people can enjoy them. Okay, so we have our finished product right here. Spinach pies or fauteuil. Still a little bit hot. Personally, I used to open them up and then rip off the sides and just use it as a scoop to eat the spinach on the inside. Or you can bite directly into them, whatever floats your boat. Either way, they smell fantastic. I can't wait to dig into them here in a little bit. Hopefully you and your family will also be able to enjoy this absolutely delicious recipe. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you liked it, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share everywhere, and hopefully you enjoy it. Join us again next week. Not sure what we're having, but until next time, keep it spicy.